Rhea, 53, lives alone in an old wooden cabin near the forest edge after losing her husband years ago. Her life is quiet, feeding birds, chopping firewood, and keeping herself busy through winter. One freezing night, during a snowstorm, she hears a faint sound outside, like a weak cry. She steps out with her lantern and finds something small, trembling near her porch, a half-frozen infant creature covered in thin fur, barely alive. Though frightened instinct takes over, she wraps it in her blanket, brings it inside, and lays it near the stove. It's not human, but it's helpless, and she can't turn away. As she watches its small chest rise and fall, she whispers, "You poor little thing. You're safe now." Inside, the storm beats against the windows. Rhea warms milk, gently feeds the infant with a spoon. Its small hands clutch her fingers. Its eyes, deep amber, watch her with fear and trust. She realizes it's something unknown, yet full of innocence. She names it Noah, after the son she lost years ago. Through the night, she keeps the fire burning, afraid it might not survive the cold. Before dawn, the creature drifts to sleep by the hearth. Rhea sits beside it, whispering softly, "You're not alone anymore." Outside, the wind howls, but inside, warmth and life return to the cabin for the first time in years. Days pass. The snow deepens. Rhea and Noah fall into a quiet rhythm. She feeds him, hums softly, and builds a tiny bed from blankets in an old basket. He grows stronger, makes soft sounds, and tries to mimic her movements. Rhea's loneliness fades. She finds herself talking again, laughing even. But strange things start happening outside. Heavy footprints in the snow, trees swaying at night, and silence in the forest. One morning, she notices the prints circling her cabin, massive, human-like, barefoot. She knows something is out there, watching. Rhea follows the prints at dawn. They lead around her garden and vanish into the woods. The steps are too wide for any man. That night, she hears a low, deep sound, mournful, not threatening. She holds Noah close and whispers, "He's safe here. I'll protect him." In the morning, she finds a small pine branch laid carefully on her porch, green and fresh. Though everything else is frozen, she understands. Someone knows the child is with her and maybe thanks her. Section 5, The Watcher on the Ridge, approx. 450 words. Weeks pass. Rhea starts seeing a figure at dusk, tall still, half hidden among the trees. Noah seems to sense it too, staring toward the forest and making soft, happy sounds. Rhea never feels fear, only a strange calm, like she's being watched over. One evening, the tall figure steps briefly into the clearing. Moonlight reveals a massive being covered in thick fur, eyes glowing amber, the same color as Noah's. Their eyes meet across the distance. She whispers, "You're his kin." The figure slowly retreats, vanishing into the dark, leaving Rhea trembling, not with fear, but awe. Months pass. Spring begins. Noah is now strong, curious, playful. One misty morning, Rhea hears silence, no birds, no wind. From the fog, two large figures emerge, one tall and broad, one smaller beside it. Noah stirs in her arms, making soft, whimpering sounds. The larger creature steps closer, eyes full of sorrow and longing. Rhea whispers, "You came for him." With tears in her eyes, she hands Noah to the creature. It takes him gently with almost human care. A deep, emotional sound echoes through the trees. The fog thickens, and they disappear into the forest. Rhea stands in silence, whispering, "Take care of him." Time moves on. Rhea grows older, her hair silver, her cabin surrounded by overgrown grass. Locals sometimes mention the woman who said she found a creature in the snow. She never denies it. Each winter she leaves food on her porch, for the lost ones. One snowy evening she hears slow, heavy footsteps outside again, stopping right at her door. When she looks out, nothing's there, except a bundle of wildflowers and a smooth stone. She smiles softly, whispering, "You never forgot me." Time moved quietly, like the slow drift of snow across the hills. Seasons changed, and with each passing year, the forest crept a little closer to Rhea's cabin. The garden grew wild, tall grass swallowing the fence and moss softened the roof shingles. The once strong woman who had carried a dying creature through a blizzard now walked with a cane and silver hair that shimmered like frost. The winters still came hard, but Rhea no longer feared them. They brought memories, the sound of soft laughter, the warmth of small hands, the comfort of belonging. She often sat by the fire at dusk, the same old quilt over her knees, watching the woods beyond the window. In town, people sometimes spoke about her. The younger ones called her the woman who said she found a creature in the snow. Some laughed, others pitied her. But Rhea never argued, never tried to explain. She would simply smile and say, "Some things you have to see with your heart." Every winter, when the first snow fell, she placed a small bowl of food on her porch. Bread, apples, sometimes honey, and whispered, "For the lost ones." Then she'd light a candle and leave it in the window until morning. Years passed this way, soft and quiet. Then one evening, as snowflakes drifted thick and slow, Rhea sat by the fire, lost in thought. The forest outside was hushed, blanketed in white. And then she heard it, the deep, deliberate rhythm of footsteps in the snow. Slow, heavy, approaching the porch. Her heart stirred with something she hadn't felt in years. She stood, the cane trembling in her hand, and opened the door. Cold air swept in, carrying the scent of pine and frost. The clearing was empty. No movement, no figure, just stillness. But there on the porch lay a small bundle, wildflowers, fresh even in winter, and beside them, a smooth, rounded stone, polished by time, familiar beneath her fingertips. Rhea smiled, her eyes filling with gentle tears. She touched the flowers, then the stone, as if greeting an old friend. "You never forgot me," she whispered. The wind sighed through the pines, soft, almost like a reply, and for the first time in many years, Rhea felt the warmth of love in the cold once more. It was a quiet morning when Rhea's fire burned low for the last time. The air was still, the forest resting under a thin veil of snow. Inside the cabin, she sat in her old wooden chair by the window, her shawl drawn close, eyes half closed as though she were simply dreaming. The kettle had gone cold, but her face held a faint, peaceful smile. When the neighbors came days later, they found her just like that, calm, untouched by struggle. The room was warm, the hearth still glowing faintly as if the fire itself refused to go out until she was gone. But outside, something strange waited in the snow. Around the porch, circling once before vanishing into the tree line, were footprints, enormous, barefoot, too wide for any man. The prints stopped where the forest began, their direction pointing homeward. Come spring, wildflowers grew thick across her steps, bright, untamed, blooming where no roots had ever taken before. People said it was nature's way of saying goodbye. Others whispered of a figure seen at dawn that week, tall, silent, walking through the mist toward the ridge. No one ever proved it. But those who knew Rhea believed the truth didn't need proving. Her final journal entry lay open on the table beside her chair. The ink had dried uneven, but the words were clear. They called it madness, but I know what I saw. I raised love from the cold, and love never forgot its way home.